Let's move on to our review of Parasite, RB3. Do you want to get into spoilers with this?
No.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
No spoilers, guys.
No. Because
No
I
spoilers.
think people got to go into this
And for the sake of Sabrina's...
Yeah, I'm gonna head out.
Yeah. No spoilers.
Alrighty, let's get into it, man.
Do a lot of beating around the bush.
Yeah. You saw this movie without me, and I'm still hurt, bro.
I mean,
No,
listen, it was urgent, okay? Listen,
I texted you, and I was like, bro, you want to see Parasite? And you're like, man, I don't want to beat around the bush, but I already saw it, man. I'm like, how'd you see it? It hasn't even come out yet. How'd you see it? Can we get to that?
No, I just saw it at the ArcLight. First Thursday it came
Oh,
out.
that's why.
Yeah, I was there. Listen, when you're telling me the guy who did Snowpiercer and Okja is doing the movie, and Memories of Murder is doing the movie, and I'm going to see it open the weekend for sure.
General thoughts. Let's start with that. What is your general thoughts on the movie Parasite?
General thoughts, this movie is exhilarating, thrilling, suspenseful. I think this is probably Bong Joon-Ho's most commercially accessible film. I think the most people can get behind this, I think, easiest. It's not like a super... There's a lot of layers to it. It's like an onion how many layers there are to it. But it's not like as...
A lot of layers.
But it's not like as inaccessible as I think as like a Snowpiercer is or like some of his other films.
You think so?
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think this movie could connect with a lot more people. And I think it connects with a lot of people because of the issues that it's addressing. Particularly, talk a lot about class and how class affects a lot of his movies. This movie deals directly in that, almost to the extreme. So super dope. To me, it's my favorite movie of the year thus far, and I think it's probably, if not one of the top in his filmography, if not the top. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Can we say a premise to this movie that's a non-spoilery premise?
Yeah, I think so.
Go ahead.
Can you say one?
I think I can.
Yeah, because I'll spoil it. So.
Okay,
Yeah.
so essentially the movie is about this family that's living in poverty, that lives kind of in this lower ground system in Korea. And he has a friend who's going to college, the son.
Yeah.
So it's a mother, dad, and then son, daughter. Family dynamic, right? So the son is friends with a homie who's going to college, and he hooks him up with a side gig where he says, hey, man, if you want to make money, don't be a pizza delivery guy. Be a tutor. Like, tutors actually get really good money because you can tutor a rich family's daughter or a rich family's son.
Yeah.
And I happen to have a rich family's daughter right here who needs an English tutor. I'm her English tutor right now, but I'm studying abroad, so I need to leave. Can you replace me for a couple months, and then you can get paid off that and you can help your family? So he's like, oh, great. And he also says, like, oh, by the way, the mom of this family, of this rich family, is
pretty gullible.
It's simple. So you're fine. You can get the job easily because he has to go to an interview, and she's interviewing. He's like, bro, you got it. You got the interview because she's kind of dumb. And he's like, okay, cool. And he does it, and he gets the job right away and convinces the mom.
Yeah.
Well, essentially the movie is about that. So you're stopping me, but I don't feel like I'm spoiling anything.
Okay,
essentially,
go.
the movie is about how convincing people you have the necessary skills to accomplish a certain job, even though you don't have the background that the wealthy imagine you should have. And it's that idea of a piece of paper gives you that power, but in reality, your own smarts and skills can be there, and yet you're on the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to class and when it comes to poverty. How am I still a poor guy when I'm just as smart as that guy, but I can't afford to go to college and I can't afford the things he can afford, and he happens to have the same jobs? So what can I get away with if I just pretend I do? And it's this idea of like con and pretending the whole movie.
Right, exactly.
But that's essentially the premise of the movie without spoiling.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. That's a great summary for sure.
Jesus.
Yeah. Okay. No, you did good. I think that pretty much sums up the whole kind of idea of the movie, and the kind of theme that persists throughout the film. I think is exaggerated through a lot of the characters in this film. I think all of the performances are like really, really funny to me.
Who's the best performance in this movie?
To me,
without giving anything away.
That's a good question. I mean, honestly, you know what? We haven't.
I think it's easy.
We've gone this whole podcast without shouting out Bong Joon-Ho's frequent collaborator, Kang Ho Song.
Is that his DP?
No, he's the star. He's the dad in this movie, but he's in all of Bong Joon-Ho's
I was gonna
movies.
say all the shout out to Kang Ho Song.
Yeah.
That guy can act.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Well,
he's good.
he's the through line in all of his movies.
All
he's the
his
main star of
movies.
The Host, main star of the Memories of Murder and stuff like that. So this movie kind of elevates his level of acting too. And to me, what's most impressive about this movie, and I think it's imperative that people go in without knowing anything. That's why I was like, Ace, be careful, because
I literally didn't even see the trailer when I walked in.
Yeah, I didn't see the trailer.
I haven't seen anything.
I was like,
Yeah,
it's a
I didn't see
Korean
the
movie.
poster.
Go watch it.
I didn't even know it was a Korean movie. I thought it was going to be in English.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, but it's good though. I like reading.
Yeah.
But it was great. To me, this movie has so many clever beats and turns and reveals that I don't think it's a spoiler. It's telling you that there's going to be movement and misdirections, but the ways that it goes is really I think pretty unseen.
Absolutely, and I think the thing it deals with the most is the fact that Bong Joon-Ho, like we said in all this podcast, always wants something to say, always has something to say, and is not afraid to say it.
Yeah,
and he's very vocal in his messaging. And this movie, like you said, is layers on layers, has so many themes and so many messages that's almost a challenge of this movie, is if you can handle the ability to soak in everything that Bong Joon-Ho is trying to say in this movie. Obviously, RB3 did. And a lot of people have, because they've already kind of projected this movie to be one of the best movies of the year, and if not clearly the best foreign film of the year. But a lot of people are already giving this one the Oscar, RB3.
Well,
you agree with that?
It's the first Korean film to win the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival.
Yeah.
And to me, it's probably Bong's best film.
Do you think this is
one of his best?
Do you
films.
think this is the front runner for the best picture?
I don't know. I have a weird taste, so I think the Academy has a different taste than myself and a lot of critics.
I mean, I'm on award Twitter or whatever that is, and film Twitter, and they seem to give this one the award already.
I have a hard time seeing them give a best picture to a foreign film.
That's exactly what it is, though.
Seeing them do
That's why they should do it.
Yeah,
because it is.
I want to see him do it. Yeah, I love to see him do it. But we saw how Roma literally had the most nominations last year. Netflix spent $30-40 million advertising, and it still didn't win Best Picture. And it still didn't win Best Picture.
It didn't.
So.
But that's because people really like Green Book.
I guess. I don't know.
But essentially, this movie has a lot to say, has a lot of layers, and it takes you on a ride, a roller coaster ride that's nonstop, and that gives you ups and downs and twists and turns that you don't really know how to feel about throughout the movie, which I think is kind of good, because just because you follow certain characters doesn't necessarily mean you're always rooting for them.
Right.
If that makes sense. And just because they give you the clear good guy, bad guy dynamic doesn't necessarily mean you believe that's the good guy or that's the bad guy.
Right.
I don't know if you agree with that as well.
No, absolutely. And I think playing in that moral gray area,
exactly, moral gray
with cinema really can be really impactful. So
absolutely,
really
all credit to Bong Joon-Ho. I also want to give a shout out to So-Dan Park, who plays the daughter.
Oh yeah, she's great.
It's so funny how in film Twitter, once again, that's her little Jessica, Illinois, Chicago has become a meme. I don't know if you've seen that. And I was just like, it's just so funny how that's a meme now. But that kind of sums up the whole movie. That 7-second meme is kind of the whole movie as a whole. But yeah, even if you don't have an interest in foreign film, I say check out Parasite.
Yeah, this
for sure.
I think again, this is the most commercially accessible, I think, of his filmography. This is, I think, also the biggest film in Korea of this year so far. And again, this is, like I said, first Korean film to win the Palme d'Or. So this can open up a lot of floodgates for a lot of good international attention.
Absolutely.
For Korean cinema.
I think my last word on it too is I like how this movie portrays the class issue in such a personal way, in such a personal story. Snowpiercer does it in a very dramatic,
global story.
This one is literally just two families, because I was going to say one family, but there's two families in this story, and how each family has their own reasoning for everything they do, and how it's the circular movement of the desires and the heart of the poor family can be as righteous as they can make it, but does that justify the means to get there?
Exactly.
And I think that's what makes it such a fascinating movie, I guess, is what I'll call it, to be the most fascinating movie I've seen this year.
Yeah.
And it definitely has a lot to say. So check it out for sure, and make up your own mind of what you think of it and what you think of that ending for sure.
Yeah.